I broke 3 tendons on my foot.
How did you
here.
do that? Yeah. Was
Yeah.
there a time in your life and in your journey where you made the most improvement?
Yes.
Tell us.
So what about for a student who feels like they're doing everything that they're being told, but still, like, no matter what, their periods aren't improving or they can't get their legs higher? What would you say?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are joined once again by Suvi Honkanen. Say hello.
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 Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте. Как дела?
Как дела? Хорошо.
Хорошо, хорошо.
Как ты? Как ты?
Хорошо, хорошо, спасибо. Today, we're going to be talking about technique and why my ballet technique might not be improving in class and the reasons behind it and what we can do to fix that.
Yes.
Because I'm sure a lot of you find that you may struggle with this, be it for a few reasons. So let's talk about it.
Yep.
Suvi, let's dive in. What are some of the main reasons that you think why a student may be not improving in their technique?
I think one really important thing is, and I feel like a lot of students emphasize quantity over quality. So they might be taking a ton of classes or doing a lot, but not necessarily as mindfully as they could.
Are you talking about adult dancers now? Because obviously in a school scenario, I think there's two situations here.
Yeah.
There's the freelance dancer,
Yes.
or the one who's in charge of their schedule and in charge of their training,
Yes.
you know, or the adult dancer, similar as the freelancer, you know, who thinks they're doing the right thing.
Right.
And then there's the student in school who has a schedule.
Yeah.
But they might not be improving. So maybe let's talk about both.
Yeah.
Let's carry on with what I assume is more of a freelance schedule that you
more of a maybe
an adult
student.
Yeah.
Well, I just I feel like oftentimes when we want to improve a lot, we take, for example, like 3 classes every day. I have students like this, but we're not necessarily making the most out of the class. Like you don't need to do 3 classes if you're working well.
Correct.
So I think that's one big thing. Just when you're working, work 100%, and don't sacrifice, like, rather doing 5 hours but not giving it your all.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel. But then, yeah, of course, if you're a student, you have you're doing what you're told.
Yeah.
And maybe you feel you're still not improving.
Yeah, I mean, I have had many students like that as well, both adult and also like professional freelancers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's so many times I've seen the same students over the years, and their approach has been to do multiple drop-in classes in a row or, you know, or at once. And the exercises don't really change, and the classes are often very, very full. So although one person might take the approach of, oh, this is to build my stamina, you're actually not really building that much stamina, because there's often long breaks between each combination, often depending on what teacher, but especially in this country, you know, the classes are not super hard, you know, so it's not super challenging for you.
Yeah.
And so they don't really end up improving in their technique. Also, they're not getting a lot of attention. You also can't really practice anything that you potentially need to practice because they may not do it in the class, and time is not there in the drop-in class. So I find that those people that do back-to-back classes, especially adult dancers who haven't gone through a schooling, they haven't gone through how to actually learn steps, you know, I feel like they don't massively improve. And I've had people come to me asking, you know, why aren't I improving? And I've asked, what is your schedule? And then they say, you know, I'm doing this. I say, well, like you said, it's not about quantity of class, it's about quality. So when I was freelancing in London myself, and I was looking to either go back into a company or just, like, you know, when you're freelancing, you have these jobs here and there, you have to manage your own time, like, you know, what I found so useful for me was doing one really good ballet class in the morning. I would do my conditioning and my stretching before class. And then I'd be like, cool, I've done ballet class now. now what's going to really benefit me? I would then go to the gym, for example, and work
Yeah.
on my cardio. So I
Right.
do like a really intense cardio session, which was very challenging for me.
Yeah.
Much more challenging than a ballet class where you're kind of stopping, starting. And then extra things like more conditioning, for example. But I found what kept me fit was like making sure that the cardio was still there.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're, even though you're very strong, maybe in your muscles, when you're not training or in a company environment where you're doing like 6 to 8 hours a day, your cardio goes down. So you can't actually get a lot out of the training. You know?
And ballet class is cardio-wise not challenging, actually.
No.
Like, imagine
it is
how...
for like 15 minutes when you do jumps.
Yeah, exactly. And even the jump combinations, you do glissade, assemblée, barabam, 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 pam, pam, and then walk.
Yeah. I found it was only really challenging in school.
Yeah.
Because it was so long and it was repeat. And the exercises were so long.
Yeah.
Especially adage. Like I always found that really challenging, but a different type of challenging.
Yeah.
We weren't like, only for jumps.
So what about for a student who feels like they're doing everything that they're being told, but still, like, no matter what, their pirouettes aren't improving or they can't get their legs higher? What would you say?
I think this goes into both categories, but I think it's really about taking things under your own hands kind of thing, like taking things into your own hands. So if you're doing ballet class day after day and nothing's changing, then something in your schedule needs to change.
You need to change something.
You need to change something. You know, you're getting the same corrections from your teacher. You're trying your hardest, still no improvement. I think the skill of being able to self-analyze and self-correct and to be able to practice effectively is a really great skill.
Yeah.
Because I would say, because I would say in the school scenario that we were both in, whenever like Sydney Cova or any teacher would like give us a correction, I don't think I most of the time didn't make the progress or understand the correction fully until I took it away.
Right.
And spent 20 minutes on that correction.
Right.
Then that really sunk in.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important, I fully believe, to spend time on your own in the studio, even if it's just once a week, to kind of process the corrections of the week, work on that thing that you're really struggling with.
Yeah.
Same with conditioning.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, like, I feel like something really useful can be what I did, for example, for turns at some point.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost my turns a bit, and because I was getting like a lot of conflicting corrections.
Oh yeah.
And then I just spent some time alone in the studio to kind of work or find what works for me. And I think that's also really important, to not just go over the correction.
No, 100%.
But also to find like, what if I think of this? That does that, so that you learn about your body
100%.
and about what your body needs.
Yeah. So when I'm saying like the skill of practicing, and like self-analyzing, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how I know we probably both teach now.
Yeah.
Is like when you teach someone and you say, pin down that shoulder, make sure you wrap this thigh and you feel this.
Yeah.
When we're talking about those muscle sensations of what you're feeling, that has come from
analyzing
ourselves and the ability to analyze and then apply.
Yeah.
So when you get a correction from your teacher, you kind of need to assume that that is the end result she's saying.
Yeah.
She wants, let's say, triple pirouette, finish 5th.
Yeah.
So she hasn't told you the journey to get to that triple pirouette a lot of the time. And it's like the same when a teacher says, turn out more.
Right.
It's like, okay,
but
what's the journey
mean?
to getting this turn out more?
Yeah.
How do I actually do that? And so I think the way to improve, like 100%, is to be able to understand, okay, I'm starting here. It's not good enough. I need to get there. What's it going to take for me personally? What do I need to think of personally in order to get there?
Yeah.
And then from there, it's about, okay, I can do it now once. I know what to think about. Then it's that process of becoming consistent. I can do it on my own in the studio with no pressure.
Right.
Can I then do it in front of the teacher?
Right.
Can I then do it
on stage?
Tired? Can I then do it after many other different things and get there in my brain to then apply straight away?
Yeah.
And then, yes, can I do it on stage?
Yeah.
With lights, no mirrors, nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Long journey.
So there's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
And I think if you've passed one of those layers and then it doesn't work out in that second, let's say it's level up, that second level.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're bad. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you're not practiced in that second stage of it.
Yeah.
And so it's about getting good in all those layers.
Yeah.
And then same with the turnout, same with anything that physically needs work. You need to take things into your own hands with like the conditioning or the stretching.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people make the mistake, even adult dancers, because they're not professional and they're not trying to be professional. They rely solely on a ballet class.
And it's not enough.
Never enough.
It's
never
not
enough.
enough.
Like you don't learn to really use your feet and train your metatarsals in the ballet class, really. In order to be able to be even able to do a tendu, you need to do your feet exercises at home.
Yeah.
So that they don't cramp as soon as you point your foot.
Exactly.
You know.
The ballet class is essential, but
essential, of course.
It's not enough if you want to really improve, if you want to see results.
Yeah. Was there a time in your life and in your journey where you made the most improvement?
Yes.
Tell us. And why?
Well, I feel like I definitely improved at Vaganova a lot, just because we were doing training so much and doing like really difficult things, and I definitely felt like I was behind, so I had to push to be able to like survive.
And how did you push? Like, what does that mean?
Well, I unfortunately wasn't like Isabella, that I went to the studio and trained every night for 3 hours by myself, but I definitely like I took all the corrections and I thought about everything a lot after the day was over. And if there was something that wasn't working, I would for sure practice that on my own time, usually just not after the day. And I watched a lot of videos, like Vaganova videos every day. I was watching how they are doing it and this kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I could have done a lot more for sure, but I think I improved also there because of the classes were just legs. You know, you're holding your legs crazy, and by doing that every day.
So maybe that's something to think about as well. It's really important who you are taking class with.
Absolutely.
Like who's surrounding you. I mean, even in normal life, they say that the 5 people you spend the most time with is most likely going to have the most impact on you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And same for me when we went to the Vaganova school, and they're insane. You know, it's like Olga Smirnova's all over the place with the legs and beautiful back bends and everything. High jumps, and they're so strong. The turnout's amazing. You just improve just looking at them.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, that's how it needs to be.
Yeah.
So I think you need to be constantly in a place of being slightly out of your depth, slightly uncomfortable, slightly challenged. I think the minute you feel like, I'm top dog here, this is easy.
Yeah.
Or I'm not challenged in any way and I can do this in my sleep. I think that's the thing to be afraid of.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you can never be happy with yourself, or that like you should always be like, I'm the worst one here, or anything like that. It just means that you're constantly being challenged and, I would say, motivated to be better.
Yeah, and you have this constant push to continue growing and getting better and not settling.
Yeah. But there was actually a time when I was at the company when I really discovered like conditioning.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do a whole lot. I didn't really do that much of it.
At Vaganova?
Yeah, even there.
You know when you turn, sorry, to backtrack.
Yeah.
You know when you used to turn up on the carpet?
Yeah.
With your banana?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd done this whole routine. I mean, I had
2 hours worth of exercise.
2 hours. Yeah, I'd done so many exercises.
Yeah.
And I was like sweating.
Yeah.
You saw me.
Yeah.
I was like warm.
Yeah. You had run a marathon by that point.
Yeah, but it was mostly because as well, I didn't want to do any exercises after the ballet class because the ballet class killed me.
Right.
So it's
you
like,
want to
I want to get them
over
done.
with.
Yeah. But you hadn't done any exercises, right? Before
No.
that face. So you literally just turned up and just did like a bit of stretching. I think that's all you did. You did a bit of abs.
I did a bit of abs and I did a couple back, you know.
And with your feet under the sofa.
Yeah.
And a bit of feet.
On a good day, I might do some feet.
Yeah, and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. No, I wanted to feel like I really noticed a huge difference from when, if I didn't do my core exercises.
Really?
And then when we were doing like pirouettes at the bar, or like pirouettes instead, was nowhere near on balance if I didn't do core and glutes. Then I was like, oh no, I needed to like physically feel the muscle on to be able to do the class well. Anyway.
Professional.
So going back, so then you only discovered after you got into the company.
Yeah.
And why?
Because I got injured. So I had a really, really stupid injury. I broke 3 tendons on my foot.
How did you do that?
This was on tour in Japan, in Tokyo. This is why it's stupid. We had just done like 10 shows and we were about to go to Osaka to do the last 3. And I literally just stepped on the stair like this.
No.
And I broke 3 tendons.
Oh my God.
Terrible. It's one of the worst injuries. I still do. This is where that came from. Right. It has never been the same after. Such a stupid thing.
Oh,
but anyway, I was so angry because it was, you know, if you hurt,
I feel like though if that happened so easily, something was like about to go.
Something was off. Yeah. Definitely.
Like, yeah,
something was about to explode.
Something was about to go.
Yeah. Like
okay, so conditioning.
Yeah, I was so angry, and it was right before the summer holidays, and I was like, I do not want to start the next season being on sick leave. So I worked the whole holiday, 2 months we have, like crazy. I even flew to New York to take class with Jay Rowdy.
Yeah, the trainer.
Yeah, and he killed me. That I couldn't walk properly for like 3 days after that workout.
Yeah.
But I discovered a lot of new, like, I was like, oh, you can do this. And the Bosu ball I discovered, the band that you put around your knees I discovered then. And then I started to really use those exercises and I felt so much stronger in the ballet class.
Good.
So much stronger. Jumps, everything.
Yeah. So did you keep doing those exercises for a while, or did you then find your own routine? And
well, I didn't do the exact like workout that he gave me.
Yeah.
But I used elements of it and I made sure to do certain things every day. And then when the season started, of course, like
I'm surprised sorry to interrupt. I'm surprised though you recovered that quick. Because like in terms of that tendon surely had to heal first. Did you have an operation?
Luckily I didn't have to have an operation on it. But I had what are these? Crutches.
So you how long did it take before you could like do exercises on it?
Like ballet exercises.
Or even just with Jay Rowdy.
That was probably after 1.5 months.
That's not that long, really.
Yeah.
For like 3 tendons.
I probably came back a bit too early, honestly. And then I had a hip surgery on the same side. So probably something related.
Yeah.
You know?
The pressure.
Yeah. I probably came back a bit too early, but
then anyway, you did your routine and more conditioning.
And then at some point, I did this for like a year at least, like really, really well. Then just in general, I started to become a bit unhappy at the company and just lose motivation. So it started to like become more difficult to be like, okay, today I'm going to do my super difficult because they were hard. And then I just kind of, it went like that. But
having, and that's a different story. But having done all those exercises, obviously you feel improvement. You feel benefit.
I felt a huge benefit.
I also think though it's also about smart choices of training and like smart choices of practicing. Yeah. So, you know, when we practice or when we do our conditioning, we don't always do the stuff that feels good or the stuff that is easy for us. You know, like for me, cardio was always a thing. Like I really needed to. So for example, when I hurt my back and I fractured my back and I had to be back and do like the wretched Vaganova graduation exam from nothing.
Yeah.
you know, from like nothing.
Yeah.
I knew that if my cardiovascular power,
Yeah.
my, you know, the oxygen in my
Yeah.
body pumping around was like not good. Doesn't matter how strong I am from doing my conditioning, I am not going to be able to complete this exam
Yeah.
in the time that she wants. I'm not going to be able to physically show what I can. So it's kind of like I knew what the goal was, I knew what it required. And so
Yeah.
then you kind of work back from that.
Yeah.
So for you, you were like, okay, I've hurt my foot. I want to, number one, protect my foot from injuring again.
Mm-hmm.
And then my jumps need work. Let's use this opportunity to build some power in my legs so I can jump higher from now on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is about smart practice.
Definitely. And you have to be honest with yourself. Like, we all want to do things we're good at. For example, even in ballet class, like you turn easily on the or to the right. So of course it's fun to do it, but you should really be doing on the down to the left, which is your worst.
Yeah.
And this is something that I have had to like be honest with yourself. So are you really doing what you need to be doing? Because it's nicer to do the things that feel comfortable and like fun to do. But yeah, I also, now that I've been training more, I've found your exercises to be so useful and like help with a lot. Like, I felt I have improved in a short period of time because obviously I had a little hiatus.
Yeah.
So I had to come back from that.
Yeah.
To
No,
the
it's great.
stage.
You actually said to me on the phone, which was really sweet, how you feel like it's a really great tool for freelancers.
It is. I think
Because-
it's such a great tool. If you're a freelance dancer and you're not using BWI platform, online studio, and the member live classes, what are you doing? It's honestly, because I think every freelance dancer knows the feeling of like waking up and not having rehearsals that day, for example, and being like, what should I do?
Yeah.
And just to make that decision, I feel like is hard sometimes.
And then you lose
So
motivation.
Yeah, you can literally just have Isabella scream at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
and obviously
so good.
we have the principal plan so we can make people a plan. Or
Yeah.
if you have that discipline, you can then just put together a plan for yourself.
Exactly.
Which-
You can choose that what you want to do. There's everything there. Everything for jumps, turns, extensions, mobility, whatever you can think of, it's there. And if you feel like you need a more structured plan, then the principal plan is there.
Yeah. And now there's more and more classes with you.
Yeah.
So now we can see if we can
member live
also whip
classes.
you
Yeah.
into shape.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just tons of live classes. Everyone loves it.
I love it too. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's recap.
Okay.
Recap. Number one, you've just got to take things into your own hands. Quality over quantity.
Be honest with yourself. Are you working your hardest, and are you working on the things that you should be working on?
Smart decisions with how you're spending your time. And really ask yourself, is what I'm doing leading to the results I want? Or, because sometimes I think we do things that we think is going to help us, but you have to kind of ask, are these exercises actually leading me towards the results? Like,
Right.
let's put it into perspective. Like, if you want to do 32 frettes,
Right.
is going for a run helping my 32 frettes? Or should I practice some relevés and some drills and feel myself in the studio?
Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah.
You know.
We said that take matters into your own hands. However, you can always ask for help, which
100%.
is a form of taking matters into your own hands.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to know what to do. You can
exactly.
just
Very good point.
find out for yourself. Log on to the BWI website.
Absolutely. Well, guys, what a good way to end. Thank you so much for joining us. And also taking matters into your own hands. You can ask us questions anytime. Think of us as your virtual friends and coaches, you know, and mentors. We're more than happy to help you.
Absolutely.
We've been through so much together and separately. From like injuries, from trying to get better, from trying to achieve a lot in our lives, and through struggle as well. So definitely leave us a comment or email us. I'll put the email down below. And yeah, we'd love to hear from you and help you. So we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you found it useful, and we'll see you very soon.
Bye.